used to hitting the ropes. No, just bounce yourself off the ropes. That shit hurt. Throw people, you just gotta get used to lifting people's body. That's it. Get you one of them fireman dummies. Start you off. Use your weight just to counter their weight. Lift with your knees and your hips and shit. It's almost bedtime for you.
This is some visionary shit. This is some visionary shit. Visionary shit. This is some visionary shit. This is some visionary shit.
You want me to, oh, 'cause I just want you.
Miss my nigga Die Hard, miss my nigga Taki, miss my nigga Undo, miss my nigga Jaffe. Mornings at the corner store, arguing with Poppy. One time I was fucked up, Zifi said he got me, put me on my feet. Now my nigga gone and I'm feeling incomplete. Me and you were all-star, was just up in the Jeep. Bent the corner Godwin and ran into Khalif. Shit was cool then. Miss my nigga G Money, he the coolest. One of the main reasons why I really do this. How they kill a goat. Every time I think about it, I be wanting smoke. 40 with the laser and I'm clutching on it close. You know these streets crazy. We miss you, Kaka. We miss you, Big Baby. I'm still in rap mode, man. I hope this shit save me. 40 round the corner, but I hope I see 80. Hey, Jacquees, we really missing you, cuz. Pick up your phone, I got some bars. I wrote some shit for you, cuz. You know the family threw a fit for you, cuz. The whole city popped out. I swear to God, we had it lit for you, cuz. Damn, I miss Taheen. I miss Sherby too. I miss marijuana. He got murdered too. Roll me up some backwoods. I'm about to burn a few. I can still feel your ghost when it's floating through. I miss all y'all. I miss all y'all. I miss all y'all. I miss all y'all. We were supposed to get this money and just ball, y'all. I wish I could pick the phone up and call y'all. If I could rewind time and bring the scene back, I bring Preemy, bring Nori, bring Beans back. Ebony and Stephanie, I bring the queens back. I'm in the booth with YG, I think I dreamed that. Think about my nigga Shaq, got my tears dropping. A big Norm pulling up with the van knocking. 20 plus years, nigga, we was sandboxing. Couple times uptown, we was gram shopping. I miss my nigga D-Nice. I miss my nigga Suspect, he brought the party to life. I miss my grandma and how she used to give me advice. I miss doing sign language with Pike. Pike, what up, nigga?
You want me to, oh, 'cause I just want you.
Yeah. It's Vito, baby. Thinking about ways to make you mine. Followed your Instagram, so I know you got time. See, you been working, putting in overtime. I'm not trying to press you, but girl, you stay on my mind. Just being honest, I really want you, yeah. Talk to my conscience.
This is some visionary shit.
Told y'all ain't a rap nigga. I'm just a nigga that rap. Keep all that rap cat to the back of the back. Ain't with none of the act. I just pull up for the shows and pull up for hoes and shoot us wherever I'm at. Told y'all ain't a rap nigga. Nah, I'm just a nigga who rap. I've been putting in work for a long time now. Niggas can vouch for that. I done spent blocks, hopped out on ops broad day. No clout for that. Ain't got nothing to do with rap. Niggas wanna die on live, let them at his man, then double back. Rounds left, we gon' double back. Told y'all ain't a rap nigga. I just be into the facts. I just be into that slide and into the drama. Niggas could die after that. We could sit down and talk about the dollar. Dotted line, we ain't signing for that. We could sit down and talk about the dollar. Dotted line, we ain't signing for that. Told y'all ain't a rap nigga. I'm just a nigga that rap. Keep all that rap cat to the back of the back. Ain't with none of the act. I just pull up for the shows and pull up for hoes and shoot us wherever I'm at. Told y'all ain't a rap nigga. Nah, I'm just a nigga who rap.
Like me,
You motherfuckers ain't smoking this. You ain't smoking green tea, nigga. I don't know what you saying. Jokes up, bitch ass. Bitches and bitch ass nigga.
And a lot of niggas live their life. I thank God I can look back.
I'm on the East Coast with it too. Tapped in Cali too. Shout out to Ski.
I got a little bit on my feet.
Shout out to Ski, Big Cream. Shout out to my nigga Slim. Overseas. Twist.
This is some visionary shit. 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 This is some visionary shit.
I just gotta get in my bag. I gotta get in my bag. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Jack jumping like two. Gangsters in the party. I got 2 glass, got 2 sticks. It's gangsters in the party. I got 2 glass, got 2 sticks. It's gangsters in the party. I got 2 glass, got 2 sticks. It's gangsters in the party. I got 2 glass, got 2 sticks. AP or the rollie, drop the bag on the wrist. Diamonds in the ring, you see the bust down in this bitch. I'm dancing in the club, I got my Glock and put it back. Pistol in the party, looking wrong and we attack. Ain't thinking about the cause, can you hear me? Everybody strapped for the pole, do you fear me? Killers and drug dealers got a boss, so they gon' stand for me. AKs, I'm smoking grade A, I'm finna get mine. Fuck all this shit, my gun talk, I'm finna let one off. Hero, but he's Sub-Zero, I knock your mom off. Can catch you, stop all that hiding, don't try to run off. No ducking, hiding, they heat me up and still I can't believe that I'm surviving. You got a lot of balls, cause I was you, I wouldn't try it. Your brother and your mama having dreams about you dying. I woke up on them slow, take off my mask and get defiant. That shit just on my mind, I hope you don't think that I'm lying. Cause we gon' rock out, yeah, yeah. Cause we gon' rock out, yeah, yeah. It's gangsters in the party. It's gangsters in the party. It's gangsters in the party. I got 2 blocks, got 2 sticks. It's gangsters in the party. I got 2 blocks, got 2 sticks. It's gangsters in the party. I got 2 blocks, got 2 sticks. It's gangsters in the party. You already know that how we coming, we gon' eat you. And if it's beef with us, then you know we not gon' feast you. You already know.
The real mob. The real mob. I made this shit boo, nigga. On heavy H's. Oh, dog. I just make about 40K this month, it ain't no tax on it. You not tryna pay me for that feature, ain't gon' rap on it. Fuck is niggas talking about the go back stamp on it. Niggas know they can't get close to me because my champ's on it. Made them watch me run it up, I paved the way, you know what's up. Serving, yeah, yo, counting up, them draft picks was #1 back then, y'all was hating on them. Now y'all be waiting on them. Drop 3 takes back to back, I'm debating on them. But pussy niggas smiling in my face, knowing they don't like me, cause I'm probably putting dick in that bitch that he call his wife. God sent, you will never meet another nigga like me. Bitch, I'm buying land, fuck try and make my wrist ice. Look, I'm different, and I'm so consistent, there's no coexistence. God flow, have no competition, they like, no he didn't. Low shit, west side, big shit, best eye. Whacking shit, let's ride, I flame shit, left eye. Welcome to my city where these thotties getting cuffed. Tryna hide behind that poker poker face, then we gon' call your bluff. And y'all got these youngins thinking guns make you tough. Just because you brought it out this store don't mean that you gon' bust. This one for that hoe I used to love, and she played me, bitch, who broke? 4 pockets full, little baby, and my check up. Just know I'm good, little baby, young OG. I really run my hood, little baby. I just made about 40K this month, it ain't no tax on it. You not tryna pay me for that feature, ain't gon' rap on it. Fuck is niggas talking about the go back stamp on it. Niggas know they can't get close to me because my champ's on it. Woke up to a phone call, my plug say he sent it. I've been having dreams of smashing models in that brand new Bentley. I might let my new bitch go spin a little 10 piece all I'm fending. For my ops, I let my shooter take off your top of that little fit. And I'm like, hold on, the whole pity know what's up with me. Hold on, there can't no rap niggas fuck with me. Hold on. You think I'm sipping while I'm clutch with it? Hold on, hold on. Boy, I'm in the trap like 24/7. Open all night like 7-Eleven. Try to rob me, that'll get you to heaven. Black dress for your moms and the suit for your brother. Hold up, let me go and pull up on Raise. All these new rap niggas not even on my radar. Spit it like 100 round drum. Hey y'all, fuck the Nazi, suck dick, low Adolf. I am not a racist, moving white like it's an integration. Don't play with me, this is simulation. I am not a game, this a demonstration. Really got guns like Call of Duty. Max himself is a horror movie. Really got guns like Call of Duty. They said Max himself is a horror movie. I just made about 40K this month, it ain't no tax on it. You not tryna pay me for that feature, ain't gon' rap on it. Fuck is niggas talking about the go back stamp on it. Niggas know they can't get close to me because my champ's on it.
Hey yo, Pluto, you going brazen?
That money all I'm tryna run into. Commas. That's an afro, what you wanna do? Bust that life in. Since a youngin' I been geeking too. It's geeking out them y'all. More money, baby. 10% on top. That money all I'm tryna run into. Commas. That's an afro, what you wanna do? Bust them like pinata. Since a youngin' I been tweaking too. Was geeking off them yappers. When they sign you, what you gon' do? 10% on top. That money all I'm tryna run into. Commas, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Commas. That's an app, bro. What you wanna do? Bust them like pinata. When they sign you, what you gon' do? 10% on top. Get the money, get the dough, and shit to debate about. Got a lot of haters on my plate. Make if I see the blitz, I'ma take them out. 10 out of 10, but I'm gon' win. Back of my sins, but I'll take his ass up top. Quick to pop his lid, nigga ain't my king. Fuck, I'm a socialite, I don't need no friends. And I'm way too fly, yeah, gone in the wind. 1200 bitches, nigga, that's my twin. Got ball main balance, stack with belly. Basing me right now, like, yeah, come on. Big got time with no panties, but that shirt, that is a V-long. That money all I'm tryna run into. Commas. That's an eyebrow, what you wanna do? Bust them like pinata. Since a youngin' I been tweaking too. Was geeking off them yappers. When they sign you, what you gon' do? 10% on top. That money all I'm tryna run into. Commas, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Commas. That's an eyebrow, what you wanna do? Bust them like pinata. When they sign you, what you gon' do? 10% on top. My bitch thick like Betty Boo. Yeah, she got fatty too. So much money I ran into. 6 months chicken noodle soup. Pussy boy, I'm ahead of you. Player not gon' step on you. Fold on like the letter U. Recruit him, we gon' kill him too. Hey, Dami, guess who next? She put the spliff and said no comment. Another hop up off the list and we ain't pay no honey. These niggas hold, these niggas standards low, these niggas gossip. We live in pose, yeah, gon' tag a toe. I'ma hit his pot. Hit this, all I wanna do is run up kamikaze. Pick this if you run up to the gang, that's kamikaze. Pick this, I'ma cut you off, you whacking wishy-washy. Pick this and I'm riding with it, fuck if you don't like that money, all I'm tryna run into. Commas. That's an eyebrow, what you wanna do? Bust them like pinata. Since a youngin' I been tweaking too. Was geeking off them yappers. When they sign you, what you gon' do? 10% on top. That money, all I'm tryna run into. Commas, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Commas. That's an eyebrow, what you wanna do? Bust them like pinata. When they sign you, what you gon' do? 10% on top. That money, all I'm tryna run into. Commas. That's an eyebrow, what you wanna do? Bust that like since a youngin' I been geeking too. It's geeking out them yappies. Oh, man, baby. 10% on choppers.
ain't taking the bill if they been in the house. I got lean in the drop. I made money in the penny. Me pyramid down for a ticket. Shit, folks might die with that. No, you might die with that. Coach, you play with that. You just might die with that. Joke. Better check cut me, you gon' die with that. If I might say to you, like you gon' die with that smoke. It's a wild card carry no cut for me. It's a got 26 on top for me. It's how you buy a person ain't fuck for me. It's ass shots you got up in the butt for me. It's how you rob a nigga with that gun for me. How you keep catching charge getting burned for me. It's the I'm on the fence and I get loans for me. It's scamming hard for some phones for me. It's a murder for me. It's a patty for me. Y'all going up, go get a ladder for me. Y'all pouring up 3 in the fountain for me. She in Texas, she flew to Atlanta for me. I ain't want fuck by no VIP respect. Boy, me a fuck around, throw up the back end. My brother couldn't make this show, he got the pack in. I'm mad at her fuck the hoe, she got the bag for me at the patty. Send me the edit, I pull up this CO Hispanic. Just like I'm rapping this shit at the edit, I'm moving the package. This so she ain't no lies with me. Damn, this bad is the eyes with me. Why she letting on me? It's the eyes with me. And she get money, she's blind for me. She don't see no hoe, she's blind for me. Rap in the permit, do a crime for me. I'm in the bed, on the fan for me. Jay in the kitchen, cause it lands for me. I ain't no pay to me.
Go, y'all! Fucking pay. Y'all niggas stop.
Comments.
Oh, y'all want my
hell no.
Hell no.
I should have. Bald head niggas winning. Y'all dreadhead niggas used to have it. Then us wave head niggas had it. Now the bald head niggas got it. Now don't get me. Don't get me. All-Star Weekend, you don't want to get me. No. You don't want to get me. All-Star Weekend shooters is out here. All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend. Play it! Y'all niggas better get a deal. Play it! Like a house. Some choppers, and some SRT, and 10%. Not on the choppers, just 10%. Not on the choppers, though. We gonna need 10%. Come on, Zion, you bullshit. Yo, the people car they delivering, no, fuck y'all up. The people car y'all niggas delivering, no, fuck y'all up.
Couple K with us. If we catch a whip out there, we spare up. You could hold it, could don't fix a little ass for no pay from us.
I got all my feelings in my bag and I done ran it up. Got these bitches all up on my dick, they tryna suck it up. Bitch, I'm with my gang, you know these niggas don't put no bear in nothing. If I catch a op, I got my Glock and I'ma air it.
We gon' head it up, he ain't add it up, so we bet it up. We subtract the ones, 50 shots out the strip, bitch, we ain't add it up. Toe tagging DOA, bitch, we gon' bag him up. And this bitch was flying so he add it up. He with the beat, I jump on him, I'm gon' bag him up. I speaking on the broke, bitch, we gon' bag him up. 7 shots to his face, so that shit added up. And his mama miss a baby, so she bagged up. Spin the block and hit that bitch, we gon' tear up. 50 shots start the rain, they gon' get up. Everybody talking game, bitch, we gon' let it up. Bitch, 30s in the cup, put the sand for the
since I can't fuck with rappers, I know most of them be capping. Yeah, we keep them sticks, but on that strip, no, we ain't lacking. Go pick up a brick, I know you sick, no, you ain't having.
Can't wait to catch you, bitch, niggas in traffic. How the hell he pull up with a stick, that's automatic. We catch her all that bad and doing nasty. 30 shots, ain't got the rich, they don't really want no steady.
Most of these niggas be acting, my young be bang bang. Yeah, you can get hit with the Mac 10, they gon' be out my ass. Most of these niggas be acting, my young be bang bang. Yeah, you can get hit with the Mac 10, they gon' be out my ass.
I heard what he said, but he ain't saying nothing. He ain't chopping bullets if he acting like he playing us. Run up from that bitch, it ain't no laying up. I come from the trench, but you get ripped, this shit get dangerous. I heard what he said, but he ain't saying nothing. He ain't chopping bullets if he acting like he playing us. Run up from that bitch, it ain't no laying up. I come from the trench, but you get ripped, this shit get dangerous.
This is some visionary shit. 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 This is some visionary shit.
Me and boy Brace on day, we trapping all day.
Is this clock?
I'm a rock star, she a pop star, but we make it work, no cop car. But I'm driving fast like fuck the jakes, no Audemars. You see what time I'm on, hanging on time to waste. They say time is money, so I spend my time getting paid.
Call of Duty guns, ain't no one-on-ones, bitch, this the war zone. Don't come outside, we quick to let it fly, then quick the war zone. One way, bitch, the done way, we let them drums play. Gunplay, don't want no gunplay, turn this bitch to doomsday.
I got a fetish for them drums, I thought I told you that. Once this chopper hit his ass, no ride can bring you back. Fuck that nigga, he dead. You heard what I said. I would've paid for the hit, but I got the stick, so I did it instead.
I'ma shoot something I don't do, running this Dior. Kicks a rapper, but I still a mess up and kick your door. Quiz and baby slot, he lead a scene a mess, he get 'em more. Hit for local crim, you know that I'ma spend this Glock, I'm doing man.
Hey, Rose, say we got these niggas, ain't got no time to wait. Ski mask and Nike text like nigga with the safe. Get a dog or go to church, nigga, if you scared. Had them begging for us like, but we still left that nigga dead.
Keep a 9-0, leave him John Doe, I'm off for Adderall, dime ho. I told her bring a friend, we finna have a ball. Ain't trippin' by no bitches, me and Loco, we done had them all. New bitch, she at college, bro, who scam out them designer stars.
No cap, yeah, we done had them all. Guns clap, round of applause, slat in the cut here, knock you off. Hey, Honcho, show these niggas how we ball.
Hey, Cupid, don't got no cape for, ain't playing Captain Saber hard, no kizzy, I don't date hard. Just dunk them, then I pass them all.
Just dunk them, then I pass them all.
We switch route, trade them all.
Shit, that little bitch, nasty whore.
Who know I roll and play a part?
Go dummy for that money between the Glock and the hard place.
I got on and brought my niggas guns to make sure that we all safe.
Town, son, it's all coming. I mean, the Sama told me don't stop. Shit like Zoom, nigga. Fuck you, you ain't with us, nigga. Fuck these niggas think you should. What's up? What's up? Plug music, nigga. My niggas got choppers, they shooting on sight. My bitches pop Molly, they fucking all night. What? I deal with the plug, my niggas they eat. We eatin'. My shooters don't play, put them shots and repeat. Bop, bop. With me, you gon' die. Bet you your mama gon' cry. The life that you live is a lie. Might call up your bitch and get high. Might sit back and smoke up a O. Might get me some head and just go. Them bricks, yeah, I get for the low. As soon as I get them, they go. Look, all I know is money, all I know. All I know is bricks, all I know. Fucking with these bitches, all I know. Head in the whip, all I know. Counting all this cash, all I know. Smoking on the gas, all I know. Strapped all the time, all I know. Always on the ground, all I know. Your bitches with me and she chillin'. These beats I be getting, I'm killin'. My money is touching the ceiling. My niggas, they juggin' and dealin'. These niggas, they hatin', they mad. They goofy, they don't got no swag. Keep hating, get put in the bag. Every nigga gon' empty the mag. Look, pop at his top, watch him drop. Got ammo, them bullets don't stop. My hitters will hit up your block. Might hit up a couple of ops. Tell him to chill, shit can get real. Live by the model, bitch, fuck how you feel. Live by the model, bitch, fuck how you feel. My niggas got choppers, they shooting on sight. My bitches pop Molly, they fucking all night. What? I deal with the plug, my niggas they eat. We eatin'. My shooters don't play, put them shots and repeat. Bop, 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 bop.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Sativa Jones every time. And this is Rolling with Sativa. What up, y'all? It's a Wednesday, so you know we gon' at the source you at that. Just like that. I feel like I've been beating it for the election. Good luck, man. That's all I can really say. It's just good luck, cause one half of the population is not gonna like it. So I think we should really just come together as Americans, no matter who wins. And I'll be the first to say, this is not gonna change any. This is not gonna change the way I see America per se, as in us as civilians. But this is definitely gonna change. What do I want to show y'all first? Kamala Harris commits to
confirmed that Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him.
They go, we want unity. We want unity. The country wants to vote for Hitler. Guys, talking out of both sides of your mouth. You say he's the worst man to ever or fascist and voting for a leader who's Hitler-esque. But anyway, let me tell you guys about Ground Out News real quick. I want you to be informed and up to date on all stuff because I go to sources.
This is some visionary shit.
Trump. So they reported
that are not just biased, right? We got the left, the center, and the right. And this is the a synopsis there. You can just look at the way they cover it, right? Go to the left. These are the articles. Here's why Trump Hitler praise is so dangerous, according to Harris. They're alluding to the fact that he's praising Hitler. John Kelly says Trump told him more than once that Hitler did some good things. This is how they covering this, right? Then you go to the right, people on the right, and it says Kamala Harris uses sketchy Atlantic hit piece. Also, I want to tell you guys about this other thing that's really cool on here, so you don't get blind spotted, right? So for the right, these are things that are conservative are not paying attention to. Here's the thing that the left is not paying attention to. And therefore you can make sure you're up to date on both sides of the spectrum. Make sure your economic plan can actually you're gonna do about wars, not coming through and looking like a desperate woman that just ran out her side dude's house. Look at her. Look how disheveled she look coming out there. Look like somebody's side piece. And you finna come tell on him so his wife can see. That's how desperate and weird she look on this. Y'all gotta stop over delivering. Desperate and weird she look on this. Y'all gotta stop over delivering this false message.
A retired four-star Adolf Hitler had.
Can you write this letter? Anybody say nothing about this Hitler thing until right now. Now he comes out with a op-ed or something.
He would, again, I think he's lacking in that argument that he did anything good. First of all, you should never say that. Everything he did, life,
Donald Trump haven't been around this man in forever. Donald Trump haven't been around this man in forever. They don't like each other. 100 days, let's just. The polls are coming back. And Kamala Champagne Campaign Harris is losing. So, especially after a lot of the lies are starting to be told. Oh, you Grandma Barrel is kind of iffy. It's a whole bunch of things going on right now that we just don't trust. So just bring out a nigga that don't like him, that we know he don't like.
Philosophy, so that nothing he did you could argue was good. It was certainly not.
What would he say when you would lay that out to him?
Now she has to do a press conference.
What would he say when you would lay that out to him?
Now she has to do a press conference.
A military. He wants a military who will be loyal to break the law or abandon their oath to the repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military.
He didn't say his fellow Americans was the enemy within. He said that the government has enemies within. He played Judge Joe Brown on Candace Owens, and he got a little bit of an answer to why Trump might be saying that. Because Biden, he believes that Biden and they're supposedly has dirty heroes. But we'll get into that later.
Let's be clear. To bend a knee, or judges, like journalists, and incredibly dangerous for the deaths of 6 million Jews.
Oh, y'all. The irony of this is insane to me. They're saying that this man is trying to personally use the military and do all this other stuff against the citizens. They installed this woman. Nobody voted for. That's a threat to democracy. Not one person voted for her. The bureaucrats.
Not only that, not only did no one vote for her to be the president, she hasn't got one president. You gotta think about her history. It's for them to fund her Senate race seat. By the way, she called vice. One vote. Joe Biden, i.e., she's the only black woman he sees to run for president this time. She literally got it handed to her because the president was incompetent to run again. And they didn't want to give back election money. The campaign buddy. That is crazy.
Elected her. The people on our behalf. And dude over this stuff. He wants the military to be for his personal use. They have no evidence that Trump said any of this. No video recording, no audio recording. They have no evidence that Trump actually said They have no evidence. They just flat out said that he said he want people like Hitler had.
And evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump is from the people who know him best. And definition of fascists. Personal militia.
Talking points.
To carry increasingly unhinged.
Joe Biden said, watching for that sentence. Like, come on, man, mind your business. It ain't got shit to do with you. Which actually it does. Actually, I'm lying. It has a lot to do with them. Because the information that Trump had was what was talking about selling American secrets to China. But we're gonna get into that later.
And unstable. And in a second, propensities and his actions. Those who once tried to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses would no longer be there, and no longer be there to rein him in. So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald do the American people want. Thank you.
No question. She didn't answer any questions, didn't say, nobody can ask her, just hearsay. You know, they had this talking point that he want to use the military against the people. He can't. The government doesn't work like that. He want to be a dictator on day one. The government doesn't work that way. How can a president be a dictator? There's co-equal branches of government. He can't put a law into place. It has to go through Congress. What is he can't. All right, let's go to Jean Pierre because she's stupider than
other fascists. You have heard from this president over and over again about the threats to democracy, and the president has spoken about that. You've heard from the former president himself saying that he is going to be a dictator on day one.
Okay, they keep repeating that. Day one. Listen.
Issue though, America tonight. You would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution.
I said no. Other than day one.
Like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right.
They take this. See, gonna be a dictator no more. Like, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all think he seriously said that? Then you have to seriously consider everything else he said. Donald Trump is gonna be a. You can't make this stuff up. And Jean Pierre goes on to say the rest of the stupid stuff.
This is him, not us. This is him. And it's not just us, the White House, saying this. You've heard it from officials, former officials that worked for the former president. About this too.
Tell me one time in the history of politics where a nigga who thought he should have had the job of the nigga still, and then the nigga fire him, and he still like that nigga. He still speak glowingly of this nigga. For one, then number two, like, it's no recordings, it's no nothing. Y'all really doing this whole media bliss on this nigga saying he wanted to be like Hitler when there's no, like, I understand the nigga presented a recording or whatever. He said he used to say this to me all the time while he was president, so he could have became Hitler back then. Cause that's the last time you talked to the motherfucker. Don't make sense. It don't make sense. Your thoughts, Liv?
Talking to me?
Yeah, I say your thoughts, and then I Liv her thoughts too.
I only know I be in the park. I be doing things that expect me. So, all right, cool. The whole it's propaganda. It's feed into propaganda. Fools are gonna be fools. So let's give them clickbaits. Let's go viral. Simple. And people do not agree with the border. I don't believe in building a wall, physical wall, but border privacy. But border policies need to be stricter as far as taking mass foreigners when we can't give money to the homeless that we have here. So just keep it simple. If we can't afford the homeless we have here, why keep taking in mass amount of foreigners every year? That's all.
Billion Man, New York. can see it. Billionaire businessman docks $160 million super yacht with pool, helicopter, and helicopter at NYC Chelsea Piers. That's crazy. Yeah, we're just doing a little shopping in New York before we fell off to Greece.
Man, truthfully, I'm a swimmer and I don't want no big. I just want a big yard. Want me to ride a full 100 that I really don't get bored.
New York Post. Boy 14 fell in love with Game of Thrones chatbot, then killed himself after this AI. I'm telling y'all, we attach nigga Mr. Anderson. That's what the
I need you. You said that. I need you to find that clip when there's a woman who wrote Matrix, and what's the other one she wrote?
damn, we showed that shit mad long ago.
It's second two movies correlate.
Yeah, it was the Matrix. Terminator, yeah.
Cool. As AI shit going, we need to bring up that clip. Let's be the first to say, "Yo, look, hey, she's sick."
To take a DNA test to see if he's the father. I want to know if Junior is my son or not. He been saying this since she was pregnant.
I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all, oh, why is Tasiki and Sean not cool? I'm not going to tell y'all that. I'm not going to tell y'all that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I want to know if Junior is my son or not.
Junior.
I got a family. My last name Kane. This could be another Kane. But y'all want to override that possibility with the fact of y'all saying, oh, no, that man accountable. Draw my blood, swab my mouth, take my hair. Real shit. Holla at me. Like, that's all I'm going to say, yo. And I'm going to say this and let me have.
So what y'all think, man? Huh? Give the DNA test, but it's too much money for them not to get it. They made too much money off this baby not giving them the DNA test.
If you ain't the father, then bother.
It's so simple just to take the test and shut this nigga up and get him out the life. But niggas really be scared. You had this baby for 6 months and he couldn't lift his head. You leave, the nigga come back able to recognize sound, lift his head, do all different types of shit. You only left for 3 months.
Yeah. I hope you're doing better.
Hopefully.
What's one thing you want to experience at least once?
Man, I want to pay some kids to jump my baby mama.
Whoa. Oh.
What you mean, whoa? I can't do it. We got kids together. I can't hit them. They can.
Whoa. What would your baby mama do to deserve this?
Hey, I made that stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home mom. She cheated on me after 7 years. But I can't tell her I respect her because you was a stay-at-home mom. You was there 24/7. Damn, you still found time to cheat, so I can respect it. But shit, you got to get them ones.
What? Catch her cheating?
She ain't catch her. Told me to woke me up crying. I gotta tell you the truth. I can't keep living like this. I said, I got a job in the morning. What are you waking me up at 4 for?
So she snitched on herself?
Yeah, that's what the fuck I said. I looked at it, I was like, but you didn't think to take that to the grave?
What's one thing you want to experience at least once?
Yeah, just stop and take it to the grave if you feel that bad. I ain't even gonna lie, that happened to me.
Elaborate.
Nah, I don't want to elaborate. The same shit, 4 in the morning and everything.
Come on, I was saying this enough time. I give us. You can't say nothing so powerful. Say nothing.
The same thing happened to me, bro. I got woken up at 4 in the morning and told that I was getting cheated on. I got cheated on.
Shit. Let's say, this is a double-edged sword. So I want to say there's some respect.
There's no
but
respect there.
That sounds foolish.
No respect there.
Let me say, it takes a very, 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 very good woman to tell a man at 4 o'clock in the morning he cheated, and don't think her face don't get broke. But we don't condone no domestic violence. I'm just saying, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and wake a man up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Real talk.
That's like no, like you, like what? Like, I never been through that. Never had a girl tell me she was period. So I wouldn't know.
Hey.
But kudos to her for getting up the time. She allowed her man to make that decision.
You not big in that instance because you was weak enough to cheat, and then you so weak that you cheated. Like over the fact that you cheated, you feel so bad. You not strong enough to hold that shit and keep on with your happy home. So no, you just fuck you on both instances. Just fuck you on both instances.
You want her to keep it big all the way around?
Yeah, like you did that shit. If you feel that bad, change your life and be the best wife you could be. That's all you gotta do. But to disrupt me, number one, you woke me up at 4 in the morning when I got work in the morning. So that's a whole thing itself. But then
now I can't go back with you.
You feel me? Then on top of that, like, what am I supposed to do now? Now you want me to have a conversation? Like, you feel so bad, you want me to comfort you about you cheating on me? Like, it's a lot of things going wrong in that mindset that you woke me up at 4 in the morning and had to get this off your chest. You could have said that while we was having dinner.
So what did you do?
Now I'm not married no more, man.
Dang, I was hoping this happened when you was a kid. Not at 4 o'clock in the morning, and my lady, I'm single, by the way. But if it was that, if what happened, I'm straight going to the couch, just get the rest of my stuff in the morning, going to work, and when I get home, I will hope half the pat. I will hope half the respect.
That's not how that goes, bro.
I will hope.
They try to be all up in your face after that shit. Like,
say it again?
Oh my God. They try to be all up in your face, like super sensitive. Are you okay? Please, do you want anything? Do you need anything? Nah, I'm good.
Right to sleep. Go right to sleep. You want anything? You ain't sucking my dick anymore. Go right to couch.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
to the couch.
But do you
Go right
want
to-
it? Is do you want it after that? Like,
See, it depends how at the moment how disrespected I feel. I feel disrespected at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like you felt like violating my sleep with information that violates my peace.
yo, I ain't put this in the chat. So shout out to Liv for finding this. This is a good topic. Um, but yeah, I literally went through the same exact thing old boy went through.
Go to the couch, get some sleep, wake up, work, process this at work, and work is gonna numb me out. No, I don't know about you. When life, family, whatever, biggest stress in the world, go to work, I do overtime, work. You know, gets you through the most volatile shit. Come back home, already my mind. Now either we have a conversation or, like I said, you have a door, so you know how she's already gone. Because in order for me to forgive you, we already got to separate. I'm not forgiving you in the same house. I'm not doing that. If you violate me like that by giving up my property, quote unquote, 'cause I don't own no female, no people own me. But if we both give each other, it's understand that. So cool. Yeah. Gotta go.
A tough pill to swallow. That's all I can say. So I understand him wanting crackheads to jump his ex too. I really do.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Slaves built the pyramids. Slaves built the Parthenon. Slaves built America. Slaves, this is your song. Thank you. Slaves. Thank you. Slaves. Thank you. Slaves. Slaves, this is your song. Thank you. Slaves.
That's crazy.
For the sake I can't see the video, I hope nobody in my hat got a MAGA hat on.
Nah, it's not. It's not back. It's not even America. See how racist you are for even bringing up MAGA at this point.
First off, I hope no one has a MAGA hat on. That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does.
You want to wear a MAGA hat, so why do they do this?
Yes, it does. Cause you putting a bad stereotype on MAGA hats. This has nothing. This is not even American doing this. Here goes the video now. You see it?
Slaves built the pyramids. Slaves built the Parthenon. Slaves built America. Slaves, this is your song. Thank you. Slaves. Thank you. Slaves. Thank you. Slaves. Slaves, this is your song. Thank you.
I'm mad this caption has nothing to do with this video. But yeah, that's wild. But it is a fact. It is a fact. I'm mad they got little white kids dancing about slaves. That's crazy work. Crazy work. I'm gonna just move on to the next clip.
Good.
Alright, so when I heard about this, Buy a Dog and Die Alone came to life for me. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. ballerific fashion, Crocs' first ever dog boots sell out in days, matching human clogs still up for grabs. Bro, they're buying matching Crocs to go with their dogs. That's something you do with your kid, but you can't have one because you can't find a decent human being. Buying a dog and die alone. This is the perfect Instagram video or TikTok video for what I'm saying. Do she not look like a woman that's gonna buy a dog and die alone? She got 2 chihuahuas and she look like that.
Jamie tells fans Diddy was responsible for his stroke. Now,
No,
according
Gary,
to
for
Jamie,
real?
they say according to Jamie, he was poisoned by the former Bad Boy music legend, and it wasn't just a joke. Now, according to MTL, they confirmed that when Jamie uttered those words, fans is no longer friends with Jamie. MTL confirmed that. They say the two men fell out a few years ago over a business deal that went bad. They say Jamie did not elaborate in the special, but why did he poison him? They said he just made the comment, gave the fans a concerned look, and continued on with the comedy show.
Oh,
allegedly.
wow.
I'm going to put allegedly.
Is that going to be out like that special for everyone to see, or is it already out?
I think it's going to be for everybody to see, but people kind of alluding to that, honey, when Jamie was sick. And Jamie tells fans Diddy was responsible for his...
What's your thoughts on that, my boy?
We've been talking about this for a little while now. We talked about how we're like 4 months into this conspiracy. Welcome to the world. Soon as we heard Jamie Foxx was sick, we remember we brung out videos of him walking around with the big ass little the fucking big camcorders back in the day at a Diddy party, him telling that story and them getting mad at him like, Playboy, we don't really do that here. And they let him rock for a little minute. He just wanted to put it down out of shame. Yeah, this nigga Jamie got the vids from back in the Dizzy. And they trying to get rid of him.
No, Gary, for real?
No, Gary, for real?
I just had to use my son's computer, and you know me, bro, as a dad, I'm gonna go through my son's stuff to see what he got going on, bro, porn or whatever the fuck. He 10, bro, you feel me? Bro, I just seen the worst shit, bro. I ain't even mean to cuss, bro, but man, bro, this the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life, bro. Bruh, am I tripping, bro? Or this say confidential informant payment details, bro? Like, bro, what the
computer,
bro, ain't no
bro.
give me your computer, bro. This my computer. Hey, who bought, bro? Riz, hey, bro, come here now. Hey, get down, bro. Who is you confidential informant for, bro? You running for what? Bro, you not about to be in my house on no police, nothing, bro. You telling? What you telling on, bro? You telling on me?
Bro, why?
You telling on me? Bro, give me my computer now, bro. It don't matter. It's my computer. You about to break my computer, bro. Bro, you about, hey, stop playing with me. Who is you confidential informant? Bro, man, bro, I'm gonna find out right now. I just had to use my son's computer, and you know me, bro, as a dad, I'm gonna go through my son's stuff to see what he got going on, bro, porn or whatever the fuck. He 10, bro, you feel me?
You setting a bad example, number one. Number two, what is you doing that he is able to snitch on you and become a confidential informant?
That's a very good question. All right, the crazy. My same look at this to say, if this, what kind of lesson are you about to teach this moment? Like, it's a skit. We kind of hope. Simple as that. What are you teaching?
What are you teaching your kid?
Because if you didn't know that was on the computer, what did they learn? Learning at things so confidential and formal. I'm happy you got expand vocabulary. That's great. But where did they get exposed to that? You know, how did your son get exposed to that if you, the father, didn't expose him to that?
Factuals.
So as I roll my blunt, I hope your son ain't listening. That's all I gotta say.
Number one, you should be doing anything illegal in front of your son for him to be able to snitch on you. You should be setting a better example. So
Let's say this.
I'm
You're
not
not
mad.
illegal. Not just in front of your son. Behind his back, we can't wait at all.
Some shit that's illegal is not bad.
Tim felt a different kind of magic when he spotted a young marketing exec at an industry event in Jamaica.
When I first saw her, I said, that's a girl I'm gonna marry because she reminded me of Aaliyah.
She did resemble Aaliyah the way her hairstyle was, and it really attracted him.
I thought I saw a ghost. I said, Bill. Bill said, oh my goodness. I said, you see what I'm saying? I said, I ain't crazy. Hit me in my face. Am I crazy? He said, I see it. I see it.
So I took her over to meet Tim.
He asked me if I wanted to go to a party at their hotel, and I was like, absolutely not. And then Tim and I did talk for a while that night, and then we started communicating over emails frequently. Our first date wasn't that great. We went to dinner, and of course, all of his friends came. As we pulled up to the restaurant, I was taking my seatbelt off in the car, and he was already across the street. And I told him I don't think we could date, and he told me I was high maintenance.
She felt I should court her and certain things. I'm like, I ain't doing all that craziness.
We had an attraction. We had great conversation. There was something that just was stopping us from taking it to the next level. It was just easier for him to be disconnected than to definitely commit to me on that level, emotionally and mentally.
Tim felt a different kind of magic.
That's wild.
That's the whole video?
Yeah.
What that sound like?
That's super wild to marry somebody. I don't know. Yeah, that shit was wild. That shit is wild, but.
And then she said that, and he said, "Oh, that's high maintenance." That's not high maintenance. The restaurant you probably went to was high maintenance. This being by her door when you open it, it's not high maintenance.
But I see what
it's not high maintenance.
That told her that he's used to being in the world centered around him. Like, niggas open his doors. Like, he gets security. Like, that nigga ain't gonna do that for you because he don't do that for himself. He'll have it done for you, but he's not gonna be the one to do it.
Is Ben Affleck not a star?
And he's not the type of person that could just stand outside of a car either. So when y'all get out the...
Is Ben Affleck a star?
Yeah, Ben Affleck a star. He also a simp.
It's been no more. I can't have to be if that's your perspective. I can't have
He is. I ain't marrying that bitch twice. Bitch, we chilling. If you want to rock again, we can rock again. But I've been through that roller coaster once. I ain't marrying you twice. Just for you to divorce me twice.
You haven't. You don't believe people grow. You don't believe people grow.
I do believe people grow, but like I said, it wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have married you we would have had to been together for 7 years before I married you again, because I married you already.
You don't believe right person wrong time.
Like I said, I married you already, so we gotta go a little distance. Not after no 6 months, not after no year. I don't give a fuck, bitch. You was married 5 times already. You could give me 1 7-year relationship, and we could be married for the rest of our lives. I believe it.
What if she say, You don't get the draw you might get married.
Oh, then I ain't with you because I already had the draws. Like I'm already a body count. Ain't no extra body count. Ain't your number not going up with me? Like and I do you one better. After after like 3.5 years, I'll give you the engagement ring.
If I have these debates with you, I'll agree.
Huh?
If I had these conversations with you, I'll be out here looking for you.
No, I only say for her though, bro. And then you gotta think they was together for a year and a half, got married, divorced after a year, both times.
Yeah, I don't pay attention enough to know.
Yeah, like they ain't have long-winded relationships. They did 2 movies, 3 movies while they was with each other. She did an album or some shit and tour, and then it was over both times.
So they seasonal killers. They cheat first season, get married, and they get divorced.
Niggas reporting that she's leaving him in shambles. He can't cope with himself. Come on, man, it's too much. Not marrying you again and just for you to divorce me.
Didn't Jaguar write for your alcoholic?
Hmm.
Didn't Jaguar write for your alcoholic?
She an alcoholic.
Nah, Ben.
Been alcoholic might be dealing with shit like that.
For a person who works in a bar, a functioning alcoholic, they are ticking time bombs. So you can only imagine what happens after 9 o'clock.
Mm.
But that fourth shot, that fourth drink getting your system, or let alone the truth. She can't, even though she got married 5 times, don't mean that all 5 times she was the problem. And I'm not just saying this to, to get depend on the woman.
You could say that after 2, Quincy. You could say that either after 3. 5 times, she was a factor in all that shit.
No. I hope she's able to take accountability for the fact that but she got married to one dude 2 times. So I'm just saying.
I'm also saying, what does marriage mean to you at this point? Because you're quick to throw it away. So why do I have to put myself through it? You might as well be boyfriend and girlfriend. It's easier for the breakup. Unless you only want to do it, be able to leave with something.
I'm quite sure Jennifer. I guess I should have said that. Well, her catalog is a succession of music of movies. I'm quite sure she has enough of her own to not what spousal support. Cause she don't got kids by then.
Huh?
She got kids by Mark Anthony. So
Yeah.
I
That don't mean shit. Didn't she marry a dancer or something?
moderator. You give me the information. I don't know shit.
You
Don't
gotta
have me
Pay
out of
alimony to somebody.
She pay alimony after she get married. Don't pay alimony no more after she get married.
No, that's not true. If she pays alimony, she don't pay alimony until the other person gets married.
Wow,
And then
that's nostalgic.
in certain case, in like, well, she ain't been with nobody for longer than for 10 years, so they could get half of all her shit in perpetuity. But that could happen. That's why she don't stay with nobody long.
Should be told about divorces. Shout out to DJ Monster, who just went through. He celebrated his separation back to the streets. He went through, if I remember correctly, DJ Monster is paying one lump sum on spousal support and then child support.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
that's lit.
And the lump sum is $500,000.
All right, so I just wanted to play a little bit of this Joe, this right here. You feel me? Joe was spitting hella super facts, but it was this little part right here, cause he keep telling us
They actually in charge, not a figurehead.
Right.
Now, Bill Clinton.
And they can't have that.
Bill guy. You don't have people like that now. So we got to spend hours going through the laptops. There's a lot of incriminating stuff in there. Like, for example, I'm led to believe
this is him talking about the Hunter Biden laptops right now.
that one of the reasons that Trump wouldn't turn over the documents out of Mar-a-Lago is because they were deeply incriminating against Biden and Obama from what was being said on those laptops. This fool, this crackhead, even had White House tapes on that laptop. And they still have White House tapes, but they're not just auditory, they're visual. And some of the things in there, were there wartime things going on, would be treason. One of them concerned about backing the U.S. Navy off of aggressive counter-patrolling of the Chinese Navy in the South China Sea when they were trying to build these concrete emplacements on these slightly submerged atolls so they could claim 200 miles of Chinese territory around them, and they wanted the Navy to back off. That's all on there. And the admirals, 2 months later in military times, were complaining about them being told to stand down and how disgusted they were with that. And there was money being talked about. You heard that thing about $10 million being mentioned.
For the big guy?
Yeah, but it wasn't just to the big guy. It was to Obama, Biden. And in the video from the White House tapes, there's this Chinese guy talking about he'd made $100 million deposit in the business that Hunter was involved with, and each of them got 10%. That's, I mean, it may have been AI, but what was in there, it may not have been either, and somebody needs to look at it. And by the way, to show you what they're doing with weak people and being able to get away with stuff with what they've done with the press, the President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He can override any general. He can give orders to the generals. He's chief diplomat, and he can override the Secretary of State, who works for him as a cabinet officer. All right? So what that means is just like he has unlimited pardoning power. Nobody can gainsay the president when it comes to pardoning. Nobody can gainsay the president when it comes to either classifying or declassifying in whole or part any document by any means he chooses. The case on that is United States Department of Navy versus Egan, EGAN, 1988. If you look into the whole thing, there are multiple concurring opinions, and they say he has absolute authority to classify or declassify.
Right.
There's an old case from 1803, a very famous one called Marbury versus Madison, that says the president is under no obligation to comply with an unconstitutional act of Congress. It set the principle for the Supreme Court being able to, or a court, appellate court, under appropriate circumstances for being.
Well, he just said it was very powerful. Because, when they said President Obama was in office, and a lot of his bills, they were tabling it, and he couldn't get them through. The things that were, quote unquote, to help the black community. And what he said is true. You shake your head for it.
Because they didn't
You hear what I'm saying? Or
yeah, I remember what you're saying, but it was a lie. Because Trump muscled through the fucking the HBCU.
Yes, he dealt with the college bill.
Yeah, he muscled it through. He muscled through our STEMIs. He was muscling that shit through, and you could muscle.
So is it possible that Barack Obama couldn't do nothing because the people who backed him told him like, "Yo, if you do anything, we're gonna pull your."
The shit that Barack Obama muscled through was the gay bill. You could marry, and all that, and insurance companies gotta recognize gay people as married couples and all that shit.
And our parents still champion Barack Obama for. He was our black. He was our first black figure in it.
Did he break down the Emmett Till bill yet? Where I was gone? Yo, he broke down what the Emmett Till bill was, bro.
Go ahead. My bad. Don't fast forward. Where's that?
Being able to declare an act of Congress unconstitutional. And when they came up with this thing with the archivists have authority to dictate what they're going to take into the archives, that usurps the constitutional authority of the president, which cannot be done by legislation. So that act is unconstitutional. And considering what we were looking at from those laptops, the downloads, it looks like there was some very incriminating stuff that Trump did not want to surrender to the archivists because that would allow the culprits to get control of them and cover their tracks.
Today's economic environment is still really stressful for a lot of us, but with the Fed finally dropping interest rates, there is no better. Because I was wondering, I was saying, for me, it's like, why isn't Trump just released to the public? You know, I remember how much collusion was happening, even with big tech, back when Jack Dorsey was running Twitter. He wasn't really running Twitter. It was more like the Democratic Party was running.
A very famous one called Marbury versus Madison that says the president is under no obligation to comply with an unconstitutional
incest between Hunter Biden and his niece. Hunter Biden was texting with his parents, saying like about her claims or whatever it was, and the media just left this alone.
Well, that's the salacious stuff.
Yeah.
If you get into what's on the laptops in terms of he thought he was going to be a porn star.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's interesting some of the people he's having sex with on the videos that are in there. It's pretty graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Full frontal or back, whatever you want to put it.
Were there other political daughters that were in?
Yeah.
I think because I remember seeing someone that looked like someone, but I was like...
it was someone. You can see it in there. I mean, and they...
America, y'all stop giving a fuck about who has sex with. It's embarrassing that it's recorded, but outside of the recording, get your mind out of the fuck about who having sex with who. If they having sex with drugs and closed doors, anyone's fucking see, they went home over. They signed up for it.
Cleaned it up.
They got home safe. They didn't go to the cops and say, "Oh, I was 7 years old this night." You know why? Because they enjoyed it.
but there are three of them. 1, 2, 3. In that black box behind the Corvette in the garage, there was some dialogue about, did your friends get a chance to look at the box? You know, this kind of thing, and big guy and all of this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So we know nothing. I mean, it's just incredible. The public, they give us 10%, and then the 90% is just being completely hidden.
But you see, there are ways of getting it. But you cannot rely on the mainstream media, because nowadays there's been a thing that has changed. They're into the ratings game because too many of them are hooked up with visual media now instead of just the print media. It was one thing when a place like New York or Los Angeles or Nashville or Memphis had multiple daily newspapers, and they were competing to see who sold the most and who got the most commercial revenue from people putting ads in there to win. How many newspapers you have from Nashville? 1. How many you have from Memphis? 1. How many you have for Los Angeles? 1. There's no competition. So they've expanded into being part of a communications empire where, like in Memphis, the same family that controls the commercial appeal owns all of Channel 3, half of Channel 5, and a quarter of Channel 13, and a quarter of Channel 24, and it's all incestuously controlled. So they're not competing to be most accurate in penetrating and in depth when it comes to the news. They use the opportunity to editorialize. Instead of there was a holdup, the police reported on such and such street in downtown Nashville, blah, 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 blah. They'll say, once again, we have an example where there needs to be gun control. That's not the event. That's editorialization. Put that on the op-ed page.
Oh, of course.
So you don't have that kind of accurate stuff, but that stuff is available because there are entities where you can get it. But there's a funny thing that's becoming apparent. Some of the best sources of information are no longer national. You can go on China's website, which is a huge thing, and you will find that they have more accurate reporting of what's going on in the United States than you will get from an American paper.
Absolutely.
You will find, too, that some of the most interesting domestic sources have a little caveat. Say, this is involved with matters of national security. Therefore, please be advised that if you enter the website, the Department of Defense may find it necessary to...
No way.
Yeah.
Pay you a visit.
No, not just that visit, but this kind of visit. 24 years ago, I was guest of the DEA out there in Los Angeles. They had 4 centers they took me to. One of them I found very intriguing. It was a room about the size of this, I guess it would be living room you guys have downstairs, bigger than that. And from floor to ceiling, there are all these monitors, and it's people's computers. I thought that they had seized these computers. Oh, no, we got basically a PEEP warrant, and we looked in on one person who is of interest. So now we are going through the computers of everyone that this person was in communications with, and they're laughing about some of the salacious stuff that's on there. And then they said, I want you to come in and watch this. I said, what are we looking at? She said, we are putting a surveillance device on this guy's automobile, so we won't have to worry about it. So street. So, wow. So you see this van pull up, 3 guys get out, they threw down one of these lay down on roller platforms, and they scooted under it so we know what he's doing, got sound and everything else. And this was 25 years ago.
Yeah, the technology they have is absolutely incredible.
Tell you another thing, right up here in Jackson, Tennessee, been almost, we are in trouble. They have this grain silo in Jackson on the railroad tracks. So about 3-4 miles away, there is a playground. So they're giving a live demonstration, and this kid's on the playground with a basketball. So he's standing there, and they quickly do staged-in zooms. You can read it's a Voight basketball. I said, oh, this is deep. Then they went in a little bit more and said, inflate 13 PSI. I said, oh, wow, that's from 6 miles away. So they focused on the next-door neighbor of my client. You couldn't see in because of the reflection of the light. They put a polarized filter on the thing so you could see in. The woman was drinking coffee, and you could read the headline on the newspaper. Then you could start reading the article on the newspaper, and this was 6 miles away. I said, oh, we are in bad trouble. So they did a final demonstration.
What was this?
This was in Jackson. This was like 1986. So they did another thing. Myself and the prosecution, we wrote a note on a yellow pad. They said a satellite was passing overhead. It was a reasonably clear day. The marshal went outside, held the pad up. We could see real time on the monitor. He got the pad held up, so the satellite's 20-some thousand miles up in orbit, and we could read what we wrote on there. I said, oh.
Well, it's actually, when you say that, it's so funny that they try to present to the public that everything's always like an intelligence failure, like Trump near assassination attempt. I mean, you're telling me that you don't have the tech to protect Trump when he's at a rally. Like, we have the Secret Service and the government crawling the place, but you guys just don't have the tech to be able to see that someone's scaling a rooftop. I mean, because obviously the technology that they have, the government has, is like decades advanced from what they give to the people. And so when you see these situations, it's incredulous. You know, it's incredulous that they did not know. It's because they did not want to know. And it's one of these situations where I believe there's always a lackey. There's always these stories that you're told about this one crazy lone gunman. I never buy it. Didn't buy it with MLK. I don't buy it with JFK.
There's two men on there, MLK. They were Marine snipers.
What do you think about JFK? Because that Chaos book tells us that the guy who shot the guy was MK Ultra.
Well, let me tell you this. I got an invitation after that Dundas King thing from some retired Dallas detectives, including the person that discovered the rifle in the diary at the book depository. The one who said, I walked in, was talking to the building superintendent. We had to go get the elevator because you couldn't summon it. You had to physically walk up. So you had to leave the basement area where the guy's office was, walk across to the other side of the building on the first floor, then take the stairs up. So as we were walking across the first floor, here comes Lee Harvey Oswald. So I stopped him, and the building soup said, hey, he works here. So at that point, I noticed the elevator traveled down to my right. You could see it come down from the top floor, and it went down to the basement. We went on and walked over and got up to the top. I just passed Lee Harvey Oswald, and when I got up there, I found the Carcano rifle. I sealed the room, and I'm the one that discovered it. Now, there's some other interesting stuff on that. We went and looked, and it was interesting in that the very limo that Kennedy and the governor were riding in was being operated along the course so everybody could see it. Now, I don't think the shot came from the grassy knoll for a very good reason. If anybody was standing along the curbside, Kennedy's head would have been hitting them about right there. You would have had to have counted on being nobody between you and your target, which from the situation was not going to happen. But from the pictures they had 6 or 7 boxcars that were on the tracks. There were 7 railroad tracks on this bridge. There was only one cop, and he was looking at the parade. The car comes in, and as it's looking from the bridge, it's on the same level as the bridge. Then it drops down, and it swings over. But for the count of 7, it's going straight on, and the target is less than 100 yards away, which is point blank for a rifle. Here's the other thing. I'd done a lot of ballistic experimentation. In fact, I've testified as a ballistics expert in front of juries, all right, jurors. So I said, if you've got a hole that's a clean hole in the windshield, that means the bullet came from the front. If it came from the back, like they claim, the windshield is bulged out like somebody's head hit it. So find that and go do it. And they called me up later, said, you're right. If you shoot that kind of windshield from the rear, it bulges out. If you shoot it from the front, it's a clean hole. So they got these carbon fiber rods of various calibers, 25 caliber, 30 caliber, 25 caliber, fits right through there. And it lines up with the bridge. Now, at the time this happened, there was a passageway through the bridge with openings from that passageway out facing the way the limo's coming, because it had been an old bridge that they put in the 19th century with gas lines for gas lighting. And there are these 7 boxcars, including at least one that was lined up directly with that shot. Now, here's the thing about the Carcano. There was an identifiable print on it. We went over this at some great length, and they said, we couldn't hook this identifiable print up until a few weeks ago, which is why we called you. So, well, what did you get? So we got through this Freedom of Information Act thing from the Assassinations Record and Review Bureau, where by act of Congress, reinforced by an executive order by George Herbert Walker Bush and then Clinton, all federal agencies were directed to send all records on that. So we got this, and they let me see it. Billy Saul Estes was in federal custody. He'd been sentenced for some racketeering. He had worked up a deal through his lawyers that if it checked out, they were going to recommend that he get immediate clemency. He gave some names, and they ran the names that they got from this discovery years after the fact, and bingo, that person's fingerprints were what was on the Carcano rifle. And there was also another location, and they were talking about how Oswald was acting when they took him into custody. So when we went into this, and then they went through and they tested to see where the bullet should have come from, they did something else. The medical examiner for the state of Texas, chief medical examiner who did the autopsy on Kennedy, also operated a chain of funeral homes. Okay, the person whose fingerprint comes back with a bingo winds up dead in a supposed one-car wreck in Desert, Texas, broad daylight. They get an order to exhume his body from the graveyard. There's no body in the grave. There's an empty coffin. Okay, they're dealing with a U.S. attorney at the time who became a federal judge. The guy's name is Stephen Trott. I met him when I was in UCLA. And he promised them that he'd get the clemency, but the FBI came back and said negative. But they didn't know about the rest of it because he gave some names, and one of the names that he gave was the person. Now, there's a Marie Brown that I talked to. She's no relation, and she was LBJ's mistress, and she said she was at that party the night before Kennedy got killed. And he said JFK didn't have any part of it. He said, but he knew something because he said, damn, these guys have gone crazy. They're talking about taking out the president. What the hell? And she said he was very troubled. Now, she had a kid with him in 1965. I met the guy, looked just like LBJ. Same size, build, big ears, looks just like him. I also met another son he had in 1966 by a black White House secretary, looked just like him. Marie Brown introduced us. And this has been 26 years ago. So it's interesting what was going on. Now, when Trott got the report back from the FBI said there was nothing to it. The detectives accepted it at the time, but they did not realize that they had this information with the print until 30 years later, they went and ran the damn thing. So now, the medical examiner is an interesting person. There had been a series of assassinations, murders for contract, and somebody who got shot 12 times survived. The house was set on fire. He was severely burned, but in spite of getting shot, he survived. He fingers the medical examiner as his attempted killer. So they take the medical examiner into custody, right? He's getting transported to a courthouse in Dallas for a preliminary hearing. He supposedly tries to escape, and they shoot him multiple times, they say. So they went to go dig this guy up, and there's no body in the grave either. And it's his graveyard. So they're going, wait a minute, what is this? This is like witness protection? In other words, the medical examiner who does the autopsy on Kennedy is supposedly killed for being a hitman. The guy that seems to have been involved with being a hitman, he doesn't have a body in the grave. What's going on? So they're taking me all around to look at all of this. So that's an untold story. And the guy whose fingerprint comes up is interesting. He was captain of the football team, ran track, was valedictorian for his high school class. He was summa cum laude at Princeton. He becomes a war hero. In 1949, he shoots a guy to death in front of about 30 witnesses, shoots him in the head 5 times. He's sentenced to die by hanging. 6 weeks later, the governor commutes his sentence to voluntary manslaughter, and he's the suspect in about 15 to 20 killings, but they never could put anything on him. So, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, what the hell is the question? And I think it's one of those things where I think that was a turning point in America when JFK got shot. I think there's been a full communist takeover. I think the world has become a stage. I think every candidate, and LBJ was in on it, obviously. I think every candidate that they put forth really just has to be okay with the CIA's war campaign, you know, and any person that stands outside of it. This is why they freaked out with Trump. That's how you knew he wasn't in the in club, because they just didn't expect him, and they thought that Hillary was supposed to be Hillary Clinton. She's in the in club, and now we have a circumstance where Kamala Harris is very much in the in club. And
and she's vulnerable.
And she's vulnerable. She's in the in club. She's a vessel. She'll do whatever it is that they want. She has no opinions of her own. She's not even intelligent, if you ask me. Plainly, like, she's not even intelligent, and so she's the worst kind of person. She's got no compassion. She lies and feels absolutely nothing, and she's the worst plausible candidate that could get into office right now when we're at such a critical juncture in this country.
Now, I've been doing what I do for a half century, and I'll say this. Probably one of the most unscrupulous, low, poor character category of people you will ever find are career prosecutors. It's okay if you are a prosecutor and then you get out of it. You learn your trade. And not everyone, there are exceptions, but they tend to get so cynical that they don't give a damn anymore, and they'll cut all kinds of corners, and it's about winning the game rather than promoting justice and equity. And I say equity, not this DEI mess, but in terms of fundamental fairness in use of the process for a legitimate purpose. They're ruthless. Also, being involved in this in any extent is not safe. When I had this James Earl Ray case in my courtroom, 3 incidents. I had some detective friends that I used to represent way back when they were just ordinary cops, and they'd follow me around. And I remember one time they said, Judge, you have 2 cars following you. Said, we're behind them. When you get down here, it was Union Avenue and Cooper. Said, make a left turn against the no left turn sign and pull in that parking lot, in that gas station that used to be on the corner. I did, and they pulled in right behind, so we got the 2 of them blocked. Okay, next thing, Judge, you need to take this call. It's an emergency. What the devil? So I'm on the bench. We'll take a short 5-minute recess. Yeah, this is Detective so-and-so. I'm out here with so-and-so. Yeah, what's up? Said, some people are trying to break in your Lexus. I said, okay. So keep me posted. About 10 minutes later, I'll get the call again. Judge, they were trying to plant 2 kilos of coke in your car. Now.
You knew too much, my nigga. You knew too much.
She's speaking his truth.
Next thing, it's about 3:30 in the morning. I've got a murder trial going on, and I've been up doing these charges, which you have to read for 5 or 6 hours on a murder case. A lot of work. So I'm home, sitting in my kitchen. I drank a beer. I hadn't even taken my suit coat off. And something woke me up, and I saw 2 people out front from where I was sitting in the kitchen, and I could see into the den area on the other side. There were 3 people out back. They took an interesting device with a large suction cup after they pried the screens out, put it on the plate glass and ran the arm around with a glass cutter and lifted the center out. So I'm fascinated watching this. I was armed, so let's just say they tried to enter and things got very exciting for the next few. And the next morning, a friend of mine who was the director of police, Winfrey, and another detective that I had represented, they showed up about sunset. And we discovered that for a half hour before this, the dispatcher's tape had been cut off, so they weren't recording. And for 45 minutes afterwards, they weren't. Things got real exciting that night, but it's like I'm just a judge, and I'm looking into it objectively instead of trying to, James Earl Ray, we're going to really do him in. Now, there's a caveat to what happens to James Earl Ray. There was a woman who contacted me along with some other people. She'd come up with an algorithm that relies on the fact that when humans are talking like you and I, only 15% of what you say consists of the words, 35% consists of the tone, and the other 50% is the body language. If they had a clear video recording of somebody talking, they'd run it through the algorithms, and they were seeing what bin Laden was really saying and what he meant, or Putin, or whatever it may be. And they would break it down into an animation for the body language and also analyze the tone. So these officers were concerned with Gitmo, and they wanted to make sure they were adhering to their oaths to uphold the Constitution. And they wanted to use this device to evaluate some of the things that they had heard and also to calibrate it. So they got 6 hours of the last taped interview of James Earl Ray that some people in Nashville had done. And they thought they were going to get a real live liar. So in 6 hours worth of tape, they conveyed to me that they were astonished when he was all the way over in the green telling the truth except for 2 questions, which essentially were versions of, if you didn't do it, do you have any idea who did? And he said, I really don't know. And it was showing neutral or perhaps equivocation. So they said when they were astonished that he was telling the truth, they wanted to come to me because they knew what I was doing on this case. And if the case had gone past James Earl Ray not dying and his lawyer dying in the same week, Memphis, Tennessee lawyer, and Dr. Pepper, who was involved with a lot of these assassinations things, was the foreign lawyer who was involved in this case too, I would have issued a finding that Ray didn't shoot King. Ray wasn't even in town, in the Memphis Police Department's homicide squad, I found had been for years telling the prosecutors, this isn't the man, you got the wrong guy. He wasn't even in Memphis. And it was not one man shot him from the flop house or the bushes under the flop house window. It was 2 people from the fire station dormitory, the cafeteria, which was directly across the street. They recruited them from the Marine Sniper School in Quantico, Virginia, which is right across the tarmac from the FBI Training Academy. So they supplied an XM-21. They got 5 of them and 5,000 rounds of ammo, and they didn't even have a hostage rescue unit at those times, and the Defense Department wanted them back because they only made 63 barrels and 62 rifles, and they wanted them for the NOM for experimental purposes. So we get into that, and now if you go to the Civil Rights Museum down in Memphis and you look at the exhibit, it says, we once thought that the shot came from the flophouse window, but that's impossible because it wouldn't open up far enough for a rifle to be used, and it didn't come from the bushes. It seems to have come from elsewhere. So after I retired, I had resources, so I started putting them to use, and we got a lot of information that backed that up. And by the way, I'll say this, Jesse Jackson is not the culprit that was collaborating with trying to get King done in. It was somebody else. But when you get into the ins and outs, there's a lot more to the story than the press ever let out.
Well, first and foremost, I would say I think you're lucky to be alive if you were presenting a narrative that was separate
You ever
from the
seen
facts.
John Wick?
Yeah.
Well, my old man taught me how to shoot when I was 6 years old. I had a lot of money to get a lot of practice ammunition, so
when people hear this, right, we're having this discussion and we're really talking about government corruption from the very beginning. I mean, we're talking about potentially a breeding program for world leaders. We are talking about Kamala's entire career really being the product of corruption, whether it's George Soros wanting to cash out on that company, her affair with Willie Brown, what she's obviously doing now, which is she didn't even really run for president. She just just became the candidate overnight. We're talking about the murder of MLK Jr., the murder and the assassination of JFK Jr., the feds being behind all of these things. How are people that are watching this supposed to feel anything but completely exasperated with the state of politics in America? Like there is almost, it feels like no hope because we have a complicit media that's working to cover all of these things, gaslighting the American people, trying to squeeze us more on our freedoms, making our kids stupid, right? I mean, like literally, we're in the future, everyone's it's going to be idiocracy in this country because the kids don't even know basic history. People actually believe that everything the media tells them is real. These kids can't even tell you the differences between genders anymore. There's 28 of them. Where do you derive, is there 126 now officially? Where do you derive, if you do, any sense of hope in this situation?
Well, it's the people. See, the problem is nobody has opposed any of this because the adversity is between being fair to black folk and being old-time racist. That was the paradigm. But that's not what the case is right now. But the public is being conditioned to we have to be fair to everybody. And it gets a bit ludicrous. Well, he can't help himself. That's what he's compelled. That's his orientation. Well, okay. But I tried a lot of cases as a defense lawyer, a whole bunch of capital cases, murder cases. And I got the youngest person on death row in the world off death row, got a stay execution 23 minutes before he was supposed to be executed. He was 15 years, 2 weeks old at the time, so I've handled a lot of murder cases. But there's something going wrong with the big picture when people say, well, he's compelled. I've met some homicidal maniacs, but just because they are compelled to do something doesn't mean we should tolerate it. You have pedophiles. They're compelled to do stuff, and you can test them. I exercised a provision of Tennessee law when I was on the bench that said the sentencing judge can require any person he sentences to be subjected to a mental health evaluation, which I put together a crew to do this. And you started getting these people who were compelled to do certain things, pedophilia and other stuff, but that doesn't mean you had to tolerate them. At some point, somebody's got to say, there's this thing called public peace, dignity, and order, and we have to be conversant with what that means, so you have to protect that because we aren't just isolated 10 miles from the next somebody through a bunch of woods or some scrub desert. People, we're right up under each other, so you have to have this compact with each other about behaving. So when they come up with this bogus thing of the person's compelled, we know. See, that's not what the case is. And by the way, we've got a new opportunity here. Black, white, brown, red, yellow, we're all humans. And when you're talking about humans, you're talking about traditional nuclear family. You're talking about manhood, womanhood, childhood. You're talking about courage and bravery and other things that are promoted as part of the human character portfolio. So we have somebody that is against those things. We have an entity that they're trying to cram down everybody's throat. Now, you can't walk in and put a crucifix up in a courtroom or a city hall or a state office building or the state capitol or in Congress. You can't put a crescent up for Islam. You can't put a six-pointed star up for Judaism. You can't put sixth-armed Shiva for Hinduism. You can't use an image of Buddha, but you can put a rainbow in there. And you see that splashed all over the place where the cities or the municipalities or the federal government in D.C. pays for the sidewalk or the crosswalk to be painted as a rainbow. The White House is lit up with a rainbow. They can't put Christian stuff on an Easter egg, but they can put rainbow stuff on there. You go into school, and they've got rainbow flags and emblems, and you've got transvestites talking to children dressed up like they're female harlots, and you have all of this. It's like they're trying to put a new faith in place as the national faith and cult. Now, people say, but it's not a religion. Oh, yes, it is, but it has no God. Neither does Buddhism. But Buddhism is an ancient and honorable religion, but it has no God. You don't have to have one to be a Buddhist, but you can have any, so long as you deal in nihilistic. It is the first major effort that I can find where it seeks to destroy all of those things that humanity for eons has declared to be something of character. You know, we were hunters, and we had to watch each other's backs so we didn't get slaughtered by one of these large animals we like to barbecue during the summer. Or when the ladies were out going and gathering, you could all talk, chat, and protect each other from something that might be looking at you. Oh, that would make a nice snack, lunch, or dinner. You see, so we have these things about altruism and sacrificing for each other because we are conscious and we can understand that we have continuity that we're part of, except for those who don't get that. Now, these things that we hold important, every culture honors bravery. Every culture honors courage. Every culture imposes a sense of rising to the occasion of doing what you're supposed to. But how many times, oh, it's horrible. We have to get rid of guilt and shame. We shame somebody. In California, that's even against the law to shame somebody. So what time is it? What kind of horrible situation do you have where you're telling humanity you need no guilt, no shame, do what you feel like doing? That breaks down the social compact. That destroys the concept of altruism where there's some things more important than me that I will get recognized as a hero. What did the Spartan mothers tell their sons? Sons, come back with your shield or on it. Don't run. Do what you have to do. Be a man. Women, you had childbirth. And until very recently, childbirth was as dangerous as being in combat in terms of the mortality rate. So both sides of this equation basically had high risk in being humans and doing what you had to do for the next generation. We had a concept of equal worth, but everybody is not equal. Hell, if everybody was equal, somebody 5'6" could go out there and beat LeBron playing basketball and get LeBron's check from the NBA, but you can't do that. So it's equal value, but you have this myth because there are people who don't like themselves and they don't want to act like they have any obligation to anybody else. And we have this nihilistic philosophy. And I remember on campuses around the country, I was in And there was this reaction against that. And people were trying to say, we don't want that anymore. We want, because that's just so barbaric and it causes war. Ever been to the Chicago Field Museum? They've got two stuffed lions that between them ate 120-some people back at the turn of the 19th and 20th century. So they got the actual stuffed pelts in there. And you know, if it wasn't for us being what we do, things would be eating us. So they don't eat us. They exist because we protect them now, or else they're viruses or germs, and we're working on that. So when you get something that's the apex predator on the planet, it by definition kills pretty well. We are the best killers this planet has ever produced, and every other predator or carnivore will occasionally kill itself. Lions do it, tigers do it, panthers do it, bears do it, you know, you name it, and it happens. So we have acculturated and socialized ourselves so we don't do that, and we keep it in check until it's necessary, and then we can become brave and courageous when the response is called for, man or woman. But when you take that away and you don't treat this predator because you're scared of what the predator is, the predator doesn't go away. It just retreats into the back of the person's mind, and since the person is not familiar with that part of himself nowadays, it will jump out and do a lot of damage. Like when you look at all these freaks that are shooting up the hallways or the hoods, you find out that they lack masculinity. You don't have to be a big guy. Hell, the most decorated soldier in American history was Audie Murphy. He was a Western star afterwards. You got just about every decoration you can eat. And
Bears want the expensive unlimited.
That's crazy. Any thoughts on what he said so far, Q?
A lot of shit to say, bro. He kicked the knowledge I ain't never heard. He's saying that I would like to say that he's dumbing a lot of shit. He's dumbing a lot of stuff down. And if he's not dumbing it down for the masses, I feel like he's damn sure dumbing it down for me. Respectfully so. I've bamboozled and fooled in mind, no. But people around me, for sure. Like social constructs. People be saying like there's an agenda that's being pushed that's breaking down basic social construct that was humanly made for us to survive. And that's masculinity, yeah, masculine, femininity, being feminine.
He said niggas beating up the keeping the apex predator caged up so long that it retreats to the recesses of your mind.
So he has said a lot, but it's very, yeah, bro, keep him alive, bro. At least I know. I thought you ready. We got you. Have a man.
Really saying to people, we need to bring back traditional masculinity, we need to bring back traditional femininity, we need to bring back courage, we need to have people stop being so fearful. The thing that they don't want to confront, really, our predator, so to speak, right now has become the government. You know, you have people who are scared of being called a name, scared of being called a conspiracy theorist, scared of being called a racist, a sexist, a misogynist, an anti-Semite, whatever it is. And so they then become people that aren't even willing to just say the truth. When that really is the greatest act of bravery you can do right now, is to pursue the truth and to say the truth, right? And so I think that that's a perfect place, like when it comes to this entire investigation that we've done into Kamala Harris, is being willing to stand up to the media narrative. This is some black woman, because really what they're looking to do is just re-enslave black people, or continue to enslave black people.
Exactly it.
Exactly. Continue to enslave black people by this idea that we need to be tribal, the people that aren't even black, right? And so I do want to encourage people that are watching this to really consider the themes that we're talking about today. Read that book I keep telling you to read, Chaos. Have at least the courage to confront what it is that we are up against, to realize these are not conspiracies, that we are talking about MLK Jr. and JFK Jr. These are realities that are being hidden from you for a very dark reason. There's a dark agenda out there, and I'm telling you that this woman, the truths we hold, I'm telling you, there's nothing true in anything that I'm holding right now. This is a very scary person. This is a person that is willing, if you are willing to lie about who you are, right? Something so basic, like who you actually are. I can imagine that there is no level of deceit that you won't be willing
May I
to.
add to that? It's too much the espionage game. Nobody fights. It's all behind the scenes. So what is the essence of a spy? They lie. Because they can't tell the truth about who they are, what they are, and what they're doing. They have to lie. So when that becomes your mindset, the spy game, I mean, little lies, you know, you help people's feelings out. Yeah. But, I mean, the big lie, like, this is my grandmama. Hell, she's dead 4 years before you were born. What'd you do? Bring her back as a reincarnation? You know, what are you talking about? See, that kind of thing is what we do not need. But see, this compact, here's one of the reasons men defer to women, in one sense, is because up until recently, you went through some stuff we didn't have to go through. As I said just a few minutes ago, childbirth was as dangerous as being in a war. But men, we could fight, back. You didn't have to be helpless. We could fend off death as well as fight to administer death. But women, there's nothing you could do about your circumstances where you were put at risk of dying through childbirth. You just have to go through it. So you're kind of helpless while this condition of delivery is going on. And we men instinctively respect that. We need you for the human race to continue. You need us for it to continue to protect you and provide for you. So there is this acculturation thing that says when the Titanic goes down, ma'am, you and your child have my seat on the lifeboat. I'll die because you are a resource. I'm expendable. Now, get up out of that seat. Can't you see I've got on my pretty dress? I want that seat. You see, you're going way wrong in the human nature. Humans and nature will not match up if you deal with this because there's a safety bubble.
This old man just dropped the gem of all gems to the question of why women, we tell women y'all need us. If we was to die, y'all wouldn't. And y'all don't understand that to the point of the social contract is being altered so much that y'all could think y'all could live
Social
without
construct.
men.
Social construct.
No, the social contract.
Contract?
Yeah, contract. The social contract is being altered so much that y'all believe that y'all could live without men. That women believe that they could live without men because they keep altering the contract.
Bubble that's been happening for the last 75 years. 77, 78 years since World War II ended, where it's relatively safe in the United States. You don't have to worry about natural disasters that much. You don't have to worry about a horde sweeping through and taking you out until just recently. But you had to train the boys from infancy up so they'd get up out of that lifeboat seat and give up their safety for a woman and her child. You see, that's a very hard thing to do, to say, I'll die. And we have to do that. And meanwhile, something else is going on, and I wanted to touch on this. I know we're probably running out, but I'm here as long as you want me. But anyway, it's this other thing. What is the purpose behind this open border? There's an interesting thing about American law. Certain things are in the Constitution, and certain things are left up to the Constitution as applied by Congress through its laws to effectuate the Constitution. That's Article 6. Now, one of those has to do with how we set our situation up. And we are not doing what we need to do because we are giving up too bloody doggone much when it comes to what's happening with the southern border. Here's what can happen under American laws that exist. One, the president has absolute powers of pardon or commutation, beyond question. Since he's also the chief diplomat, same thing about the classification of documents, the president can say, all right, I'm declaring that effective 2021, that everyone that came in here is entitled to asylum as a political refugee. We can't distinguish where these people came in because we didn't keep records. So anyone that came in from 2021 is in an asylum situation.
Do you think that's what Kamala's going to do?
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me give you the rest of it. Under American law, if you are a refugee or you're granted asylum, you automatically become a citizen in 5 years from the point where your entry is effectuated. You don't have to go through the classes. You don't have to take the test. You become automatically a citizen and you can vote. All of these illegals are going to the battleground states. So when the midterms hit 2027, all of these people would have been citizens for a few months and can vote. So this would allow the Democratic Party to effectively become the only effective party because now they stuffed these states with 50, 60 million people who have crossed the border.
Also, the electoral votes are based on the census, and they include them no matter what in the population.
Yeah, and that's why something else. I filled out 6 censuses forms as an adult. And this last one in 2020 was the first and only one. They didn't ask me my citizenship status, nor the status of my parents. And it's interesting because in Article 1 of the Constitution, that census determines the apportionment of representatives in the House of Representatives. So in one sense, they don't want it known whether you're citizens or not because that still entitles California maybe to pick up an extra person in Congress, or New York not to lose one, or Illinois not to lose one or two. And then the other one is if you can pull this off, all Harris would have to do is say, hey, I'm declaring that this starts from 2021 when the first batch started coming across the border heavily, which means in 5 years, it's 2027, the midterms, they can vote. So now we control everything. So we get to impose our rainbow cult on the country, which is the new faith, which has no character. Anything goes because we're selfish. We don't give a damn about tomorrow. We are ruthless, and this is what we want.
Yeah, well, I can say, without question, I am very awake to the rainbow cult, getting myself into a lot of trouble speaking about that, and hopefully the conversation that we have will get other people to realize, like, what it is exactly that we're talking about, the sorts of people that you really don't want to have power, and who are being given a lot of power right under our nose.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, look, we're a few days out from the election, you guys. We covered a lot of topics today. Very much probably going to get a lot of headlines and a lot of hate for it, but...
This is some visionary shit.
Feel me? That's crazy. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for the love. Jersey Leaks, thanks for the like. Q, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
That was nuts. The judge dropped so many bombs. Woman, I want to see.
To Kamala, before I had even presented it to the public, I was just seeing what was already out there. And there was this random person who wrote a blog piece years ago, 10 years ago.
The willingness to sacrifice for others. So
he was definitely a homosexual and a cross-dresser.
Yes.
So we're against, and I'm only saying this because
to the world's largest oil reserves as they were perceived at the time. So Standard Oil used his muscle in 1919 in Oklahoma, but it went defunct.
That's
over there, and they were born when they are
Barry Obama, aka Barry Turismo family tree.
Aristocratic English nobility,
to know all the stories.
Obvious, and that they don't make public. You had, starting with the Adams family, you had President Adams and his son, President Adams. You had the Roosevelts, Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. You had the Kennedys, and then they had muscle because Joe Kennedy Sr. was a gangster. He was a bootlegger, and
that's how they established Hollywood, by the way. It was a bunch of gang members that established Hollywood. The bootleggers went in there, carnies.
Yeah, I'll tell you some stuff off the record about that. So it's like you get this whole thing, and then you get the Bushes in here, and then you have the Clintons who are newbies into this whole thing, and now you have some other stuff that's going on, these peripherals.
Well, it's funny you say that the Clintons are newbies, though, because even like Bill Clinton has like a weird story. Like his dad was killed in a car accident when he was like 2. It's like they have, once you start looking into their genealogy, they all kind of have like these weird tragic stories, and then they're just kind of become the president. And I'm like, okay, well, I've looked around a lot of people who have don't have a dad. Like, they don't really go on to go to Harvard and Yale and become president. So it's like, it just makes you wonder, what is actually happening here?
And then you find something else. Look at Barack Obama. What kind of connection does Barack Obama or Barry Soetoro have with the United States? He's got a leaving road with Contrail, the gorilla up in Kansas, in Missouri. He's got a connection. But even if you get away from whether or not Kamala is black, what connection does she have with the United States? Probably the least out of any candidate for president in this country's history. So you have a situation where her parents have academic visas. They're transitory. They have no intention of being permanent residents or citizens. It's passing through. And she lies a lot about it, but you've seen that, when she got to Canada, how old she was, and that's her background.
Graduated from high school, wealthy Canadian.
The whole 9 yards. And she doesn't have that American vibe where you from elementary school are taught about what this country's supposed to be about. You have this thing where it's part of the Commonwealth, so they're subjects. Now, you probably have talked to your husband about that and your father-in-law, the Earl. And, they view this whole thing about being subjects in a different way than we here in the States view about being a citizen.
It's very different. Across the pond is very different.
Very different. But that's the background with Kamala, the way she was brought up. And you get the feeling that somebody is trying to become part of something, but they don't want anybody with any real connection. The more isolated they are, the more they're subject to convenient control. Today is tomorrow, which is why yesterday is tomorrow too, which is why we all, that word salad nonsense, which is you got a silly somebody that's lazy, it's not the brightest bulb on the shelf, and is easily manipulated because somebody has done what in Hollywood they call the casting couch routine to get where they are. But at some point, if you get to the top with the casting couch, the problem is that there's nobody to sleep with after a certain point. You have to have the raw talent, and if you don't have the talent, then you're not going to do anything much, and that's what our problem is. It's who is behind her and who is controlling her.
Interrupting to tell you guys some exciting news. With the election coming up next month, Sticker Mule is offering a free Trump sticker pack when you sign up. So visit stickerpack.com. Indian Vivek just ran as she, spent so much time in Harlem, and she was around black aunties and black uncles. And the thing that is stunning to me is it wasn't necessary, right? You can run as a white person, you can run as an Indian. Vivek just ran as an Indian. Hillary Clinton almost won, as running as a woman, lost twice. But the point is that, you're allowed to be white and run. We don't have an issue with a white person becoming president of the United States. Joe Biden was just the president of the United States. So what specifically was the reason, and this is where I had to get to, that they worked so hard to blackify her, to completely ignore her plenty of white relatives? And that's what makes me think it's got to be a pretty big secret. You know what I mean? They're trying to basically obscure her true lineage in a way that if you're thinking she's black, your brain's not even processing that she might be related to like a Hillary or somebody else. So that really stands out to me, is how unnecessary the blackification was. I'm coming up with this word here, blackification, but it's a bit weird.
You're getting there. See, the other thing is, vote black if you're black, so you don't deal with the qualifications. You just vote skin is kin. But the problem is, she's lying about that. But the other problem is, and I don't have anything against it, you're supposed to vote for her because she's black, but she's got a white husband. So the bottom line is if she can sleep with the white husband, then you can vote for a white man for president without any feelings of guilt.
Right.
So they're trying to rely on, you got to be this, that, and the other. And one of the things that gets me is this conditioning thing. 50 years worth of propaganda to prepare for where you're going right now with this rainbow cult they're trying to impose as sort of an official cult or faith for the country. You also have something else going on. The Democratic Party was founded in the second decade of the 19th century for the purpose of protecting and spreading slavery. It perfected the art of enslavement. And one of the things that I found most scary about this, I worked for a D.C. think tank more than a half century ago, and we studied this. And I remember having to read the slave pamphlets that were on microfilm in the Library of Congress. And one of the secrets to the enslavement process was put the elements of slavery into the Negro's culture so they would teach slavery to themselves without realizing it. So what's happening is this party of the slave masters that put this process in place has used it for something else. They don't grow cotton anymore, but there's a plantation, but they make rainbows on this plantation, and they evoke the elements of the slave culture that are in place to get the Negroes to vote for them without thinking about it. And the person they put in becomes most vulnerable to being isolated. Hillary Clinton, for example, came from a very interesting family, Rodmans. They were staunch Republicans. She was a cheerleader for Goldwater, one of the Goldwater girls. She was chairwoman of the Young Republican chapter at Wesley All-Girls University for 3 years as a Republican until she met Bill Clinton. So then she switches over. But I find that very interesting for somebody to be saying it's okay for Hillary to flip-flop on the parties. But Hillary was always a wannabe, and her parents were very much middle class, and she wanted to get outside of that. And she had a history of really downing her husband, Bill Clinton, because of his low origins. But Clinton was a smart man.
He cheated on her ass every
and she was somebody that was isolated because she had no real connections to anything. So she became somebody that was subject to manipulation. You also have Kamala, which, by the way, is the name of a Hindu goddess, and it's not a black name. It's a Hindu name. And you've got her. She's isolated because who are her relatives? You know one of her relatives by marriage. His name is Jesse Smollett, the one that got caught up with that fraud thing. He's her nephew by marriage. Okay? You get this little picture of family connection and the noose around the neck. And by the way, I interviewed several Chicago detectives and police on that, and I happen to know one that's a cop. He's back in the DMV area now. And Jussie and the bunch had been planning this for months, and they used to discuss it at this particular athletic club, and everybody knew it. And they got pictures of Jussie Smollett buying this noose during Halloween season at a costume shop. They've got it on video, and on security cameras, you can see him putting the noose around his own neck. And he had met with Kamala just before that, and she and Cory Booker, this is the same day when he flew into Chicago. They had been working on something that Conyers came up with in 1997 that is...
Huh?
Cory Booker from Jersey?
Yeah, Cory Booker from Jersey.
Now modified and introduced his name, Emmett Till anti-lynch bill.
Wow.
Remember the neck and the whole thing? They went off and then they had to withdraw it because of the fraud that came out.
Wow.
Well, see, this is something they're trying to do, and maybe this will give you an idea of how they're sneaking around here. The Emmett Till anti-lynch bill has nothing to do with black people.
No bill they put up has anything to do with black people.
No.
Or just the headline. But then when you read it...
The headline does. Yeah. But what it does is it puts into the American federal criminal laws for the first time sexual orientation as a victim category for criminal offenses. Now, when you think of a lynching, you think of a mob killing somebody, right? Well, the Emmett Till anti-lynch bill, one, doesn't require a mob. It can be one person. It doesn't even require a homicide. You can kidnap somebody or beat somebody. And how does that play out? What happens, let's say you have a guy who's broken up with his girlfriend or his wife, and he's feeling down, and some of his friends say, hey, man, let's go to the club. So he goes to the club with his homeboys, and he's dancing with this PYT, pretty young thing, in a tight, short dress, big boobs, hoop earrings, braids, down her back, and they're having a good time exchanging spit over in the shadows and drinking wine. And then he looks down, man, you got a heart, what are you? You got a heart on. And he busts him in the mouth. Now that's federal lynching. Wow. So what they did with it, you see this bait and switch. Also, look at the Black Caucus. They love Kamala because she's just as big a fake as they are. If you examine the voting records for the Black Caucus, you will find something very interesting.
Is it really the Rainbow Coalition?
Yeah, because they're a member of the Liberty Caucus, which is the LGBTQIA plus caucus in Congress. I think all but 4 or 5 of them. And they do more work for the Liberty Caucus than they do for the Black Caucus. Now, we have in Memphis, for the 9th District of Tennessee, we have Steve Cohen. He's white, he's Jewish, he's gay, and guess what? He is chairman of the Black Caucus's Reparations Committee. So he's also holds that same position for the Liberty Caucus. So what is this? When you look at 5 years ago, they had that circus for 2 weeks about whether to have a formal committee set up to study reparations. And then 2 weeks later, on the first voice vote, no debate, they passed what's known as, quote, the Gay Reparations Act.
Okay, so this is what we're doing is we're using black people as a smokescreen to allow
and that's what they're doing with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
You take a significant voting group that has emotive needs and cravings to belong, and here you give them an opportunity to identify with somebody who has absolutely no connections with them. Even if it was black, she's not somebody who has a prior generation in America. She is the immigrant herself because her parents were not immigrants. She is the immigrant. And by a technical call, she's qualified to run for president. See, the Constitution defines citizenship in 2 places. 1, how to be a citizen, and 2, qualifications for being president or vice president. So technically, you can be a citizen, but you can't be president like, say, Cruz down in Texas. He ran, but nobody brought it up. He was born in Canada, so he was not born on American soil. But see, Kamala was born in the same hospital my ex-wife was born in when my now late mother-in-law was a paternity nurse in that same hospital. So she's born on American soil. So I don't think they had any intention of having somebody just come in right there and getting in that easy way. But she matches the bare bones qualifications. But you get somebody like that, they're easy to manipulate and control because they've got no connections with this place.
I think it's quite a tell that Kamala doesn't have any children of her own. It's something that I think is concerning. I know that the left freaked out and Taylor Swift posted a picture of her with a cat when J.D. Vance accurately said that you don't want a bunch of like childless cat ladies running things. And I agree with that. And I also agree similarly in the exact same vein that it is concerning when you have basically a coalition of childless cat women and so many homosexual men, people like Cory Booker. I don't know if everybody knows he's homosexual, but and in these positions of power who are informing policy very removed from a certain kind of compassion. And I know people, they tried to make it seem like, oh, women that are struggling with fertility issues, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people that have zero inclination, desire toward family, but they want power, right? And it genuinely scares me when I think about this because they are naturally nihilistic. Where they gain that power and that assertion from within themselves, to me, is quite troubling. And their ability to inflict pain. I did a lot of translating the pieces that the journalist that exposed Emmanuel Macron's upbringing and the fact that his wife was actually born a man. He spoke about this at length, about when you have someone who was raised up like this, someone who was sexually assaulted when he was young, introduced to sort of these perverted sexual things. We're talking about so much sexual perversion in the government. Their ability to inflict pain on others almost knows no bounds. There's an element of a sociopathic nature that's instilled in them at a very young age. And I think we have too many of these sociopaths that are in government. Their ability to lie. Like I say to people, pause. Forget what you think about Kamala, whether you're voting for her, whether you're not voting for her. We've now established as a fact that she put a fake woman in her book and tried to present this black woman as her grandmother. What kind of a person
would do that?
Yes. Like, do you think about what that takes to find the photo, whether it's photoshopped, whether it's a photo of you with a different person, whatever, you put it in your book, you lie, you are sealing the identity of a black person, knowing that actually you descend from slave owners, right? And you feel nothing. And you keep this up because you realize nobody's fact-checked it, you're going around, you're trying to blackify yourself, and you feel nothing. What does that tell you about what that person is capable of? They don't have basic morality.
Ruthless, unprincipled person. And you pointed this out earlier. What happens when you have no legacy? You don't have any interest in continuity. You're not thinking like you do when you have children, grandchildren, or when you adopt somebody who is actually a child and you participate in raising them. Mm-hmm. And I hate to do this as an analogy, but dogs are part of our families, right? People love their dogs. But you didn't have the dog, you adopted the dog. Well, if you adopt a child, that becomes your child. You raise that child. Now, she adopted 2 teenagers, which, that doesn't count. They're already grown.
Who adopted a teenager?
She adopted her husband's 2 children.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't count. No. So what happens is, what is her stake in tomorrow? I mean, if you went out and you adopted a 9-month-old, a year and a half, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and you're raising them, you've got an interest in tomorrow. But you see, that's like that example I gave you of, you know, you come down the jungle trail with an antelope across your shoulders and you see this war party about to fall on your village. Nobody's looking. Do you sneak off or do you sound the alarm and maybe die to sacrifice for your village and your people and your descendants? Or do you just turn around and run?
Kamala turns around and runs.
Yeah.
She has no stake in
No
tomorrow.
stake in this. And her connections are suspect, but her connections make her vulnerable. It's like, I was in California when a lot of this was going on, and she and Willie Brown got detailed in the LA Times and the San Francisco Chronicle a lot about what they were doing. So you're in your 20s, and this is 30 years ago, and you're getting paid $72,000 a month for showing up at 2 meetings a month, maybe 15 hours for the month, and everybody else on this panel that you're on is 65 to 70 years old with a lifetime in medicine, and you have absolutely no medical background, and you're getting paid $72,000 a year because you're a mistress to somebody that's 60 years old and has put you in there, and then he gets you sort of promotion to another aspect of the same setup, and you get $120,000 a year for showing up for 2 meetings a month, and she misses 20% of them. And this is 30 years ago. $120,000 30 years ago is making $250,000 now.
Wow. And people need to know this is the true story of Kamala. People aren't making this up because it's election season. You can go back and read the article in the LA Times, San Francisco Chronicle. I've read them. They were basically like, this woman is sleeping around and she's making a ton of money. You know, she slept with Willie Brown and he's just putting her into yeah, that's right, putting her into positions of power.
And then there's the other thing too. They talked about how she got on with the DA's office in Alameda County and also some other things, and even getting to be U.S. Senator, which I found very peculiar because, you know, now senators are elected by constitutional amendment. They used to be appointed by the states. She is the first person, the only person in California's history to run with no Republican opponent for U.S. Senator.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, see, it's interesting, the whole 9 yards. And then there's another suspect thing, One West Bank. George Soros was the major investor in One West Bank. Mnuchin, later the Obama administration, and for 1 year in the Trump administration before he got fired, he was CEO. This is when they were having that mortgage foreclosure fraud situation. All right? I had 3 neighbors lost their properties behind this fraud. So just about every county in California returned indictments against Mnuchin and One West Bank. There were 5,200 plus counts of indictments returned. 5,200. Well, Soros and Mnuchin raised a lot of money for Kamala, quite a few $1 million for her to run for the office of Attorney General of the state of California. When she got elected, she used her authority to consolidate all of these indictment counts and dismiss them. 3 weeks later, George Soros sells One West Bank for $3.42 billion. And then they raised a lot of money to get her elected as U.S. Senator without Republican opposition. Now, can you imagine California with no Republican candidate running against the Democratic Party candidate? See, that's how she gets in. And at that point, she was Indian.
Oh, yeah. She was sworn in as Indian.
Yeah. So she wasn't talking about being black. I find something else, too. If you're part white and you're part black, what are you as far as Americans concerned? You're black. If you're part Asian and part black, America takes you as black. So how does she get to be Indian, recognized as such if she's got black in her? She doesn't.
No, she's without question Irish Indian. There's no question about it.
No.
Irish Indian.
You get this mythology in, but she's easy to control because, A, she's lazy. I know a lot of lawyers, now senior members of a firm that I recruited to law school way back when at UCLA back in early 70s. And they'll tell you, she was not one that put in a lot of work when she prepared for a case. She'd shorten a hemline up every day of the trial, and somebody's supposed to be impressed. And we have somebody that counted on other people doing the work, and she did the casting couch thing to get to the top. But at the top, what are you going to do?
Exactly. If
you're
not
going to deal with Putin? He's probably got something waiting in the far wing of the Kremlin that looks a lot better than this 60-year-old woman. Xi Jinping, you know, he's going to be inscrutable and no.
Well, you even saw when Putin sat down with Tucker, he was very clear. He's like, I don't deal with your presidents. He heavily implied it's just a show, and I deal with the CIA. Like, your presidents are not running the country. I deal with the CIA. And this was why the media freaked out when Tucker was going out there, because it's kind of, I think now, a known thing that the people that purport to be in charge are just puppets, and there's people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings. And it seems like that is very much the military-industrial complex. We're talking about Halliburton. We're talking about the CIA. You know, the war machine is telling them what to do, what to say. They just need someone that can at least read the teleprompter. And Joe Biden stopped being that. You know, he stopped being able to even just read the teleprompter. So they said, okay, we've got to go to our B option, which is Kamala.
And then look at this. There was no primary vetting.
I know. Incredible.
There wasn't even anything the old time way where you had convention ballots going on. The last time she put herself to the test, she had to withdraw early in the primary season because she wasn't doing anything at all. And then you have this other thing where how do you jump from being the least popular vice president or president in the country's history if you take the last 70-some years of polling, and all of a sudden you become a front runner? It just doesn't happen. But then you look at what's going on with the press that, I'm astonished at the press now. It's like they're the propaganda engines for the Democratic Party.
They've always been that,
Well, no, they weren't. Not back when. You'd have a report that said, okay, Donald Trump claimed that so on and so forth. Meanwhile, his Democratic opponent made a counterclaim. You wouldn't have Donald Trump lied about this or Donald Trump made a false assertion.
Yeah, you're right. I guess what I mean to say is that I think the media, I shouldn't say it's always been Democratic. Whichever candidate was going to get them the war they wanted. And I think right now we are on the brink of another, they want World War III. I've been saying this for 2 years on my show. It's been very obvious the way that they're covering everything. We're going to get dragged into another war. And I don't think that I actually know, because he has said this, that Donald Trump is their war candidate. Trump has been very much, he started out much more isolationist, full stop. He was like, every boy needs to come back home, America first. Now, he definitely has already said that he doesn't support what's happening in Ukraine, that we shouldn't be involved in Ukraine. That's not going to work for the war class. They're laundering money over there. I think they want to make this thing bigger. And Kamala is just an empty vessel. She'll do what they'll say. Trump is got his guts, he's got his wits about him. He's going to say, I don't want to do this, I'm not going to do that. He's too strong of a person.
He's somebody actually in charge, not a figurehead.
Right.
Now, Bill Clinton.
And they can't have that.
Bill Clinton was a hillbilly, but he had leadership capacity and he was a strong man. I remember something that I saw him do that was very fascinating. 40-some years ago, they had a coalition down here in Arkansas, and they met up in Jonesboro at a synagogue. I think it was Jonesboro. And I went down there to consult with them, and they had an organization that had farm workers, League of Women Voters, Jewish Defense League, etc., a bunch of ministers. And these night riders were coming by in flatbed trucks with shotguns and rifles, intimidating everybody. So they got the bright idea of, let's call the governor. He's a young guy. So they did. Bill Clinton showed up, buffed out dude, then big, and he had his Arkansas State Police guards, and he made them wait inside the synagogue or church. And he gave his coat to the preacher, and there was this guy with a bullhorn over there agitating. He went over and knocked the thing out of his hand. The big guy picked him up, rammed him up against the wall. His feet were about this high off the ground, fished in his pocket, took his wallet out, looked through it, put it back in, and said, your name's so-and-so, this is where you live. And if I see anybody, hear about anybody coming back here to mess with my constituents, I'm getting you. And he threw the guy down, and somebody came up with a shotgun. He punched him, butt-stroked the guy with his own shotgun, and walked down the sidewalk, knocked 4 or 5 people to the ground. And said, anybody want a piece of this? I said, damn, all right, I'm impressed. But you see, they don't make them like that now for the Democratic Party. They don't have any Give 'em Hell Harrys. Who was a captain in the artillery in World War I and decorated. They don't have any John F. Kennedys who had PT-109 chopped in two by a Japanese destroyer. They don't have any FDRs who was Secretary of the Navy from a family of warriors. Least of all, Teddy Roosevelt, who led the Rough Riders up with the 10th Cavalry up San Juan Hill. You don't have that. You don't even have Lyndon Baines Johnson, who is an interesting guy. You don't have people like that now. You've got some wishy-washy somebodies that would be nobodies if they didn't have the lifetime political connections where there is obvious corruption. You, for your entire adult life, have been on a government payroll, but you're a multimillionaire. It just doesn't equate. Not at all.
Right.
So, and by the way, you get people who are very vulnerable. And when you have somebody that's vulnerable, you can control them.
Emmanuel Macron, Barack Obama with his history, homosexual relationships.
Biden.
Yep, Biden.
Let me tell you about Biden. Yeah. Fox, 2.5 years ago, did a moot court thing where I was the judge on it in New Jersey. So we kind of got a jury selected, and they were going to play grand jury. Was there probable cause to believe that Hunter Biden committed an act in violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA? And we had the technician who worked on the laptops. And by the way, I said laptops, plural. There were 3, not 1 like the press is saying. Wow. And he downloaded all of them and had the documentation where he got permission from a perhaps high Hunter Biden. So we got to spend hours going through the laptops. There's a lot of incriminating stuff in there. Like, for example, I'm led to believe that one of the reasons that Trump wouldn't turn over the documents out of Mar-a-Lago is...
This is where we started from? Man... And then they running on, Trump didn't want us to get passed through the Emmett Till Act. He's racist. Nigga, that was about gay people. Stop playing in our faces. Q, you there? This has been a late show. See y'all guys next week. You feel me? This has been Rolling with Sativa. The difference between a dreamer and the visionary and the dreamer is the dreamer has his eyes closed and the visionary has his eyes open.